Hi everybody! Welcome back to the Zacas system. This presentation is the first ever recorded Batrep involving the use of the Zacas rules modifications for Warhammer 40k. To see a list of these rules, please see our other videos, but for now, enjoy the battle report. Now, this imposing piece of landscape was our battlefield. It's a relatively small table compared to the normal 8x4 tables used in most Warhammer games, but it's a perfect size for the smaller sized matches that the Zacas system was built for. At the center of this table is a large silo filled with super fuel that all engines in the 41st millennium run on. The existence of this silo, obviously, drew the attention of nearby commanders. Let's go see them now. The first commander is my brother, the Lord Militant Lucas Alexander. This detachment of his Imperial Guard army is 1,000 points strong and is ready for war. Now, because this was our first real test game for the Zacas system, he's still using 10-man squads despite the potential benefits of using bigger squads under the Zacas system. But he's still a very tough competitor, as you'll soon see. Right now, you can see his deployment. His army is composed of numerous squads of infantry, armed with a dizzying array of lasguns, autocannons, and missile launchers. He's also fielding one Leman Russ tank, a sentinel, and an elite team of stormtroopers led by an inquisitor. Now, my brother's opponent is, who else? Me, the Space Marine High Marshal Zachary Alexander. Apparently my Space Marines forgot to pose for the camera. By the time I remembered to have my skull probe take a picture of the battlefield, they were already well on the move, with their assault squad taking cover behind the main objective. As you can see, my army is composed of 2 tactical squads, 2 dreadnoughts, and an assault squad, all moving towards the objective. Also, as you can see, this is the end of the first turn, and nothing too spectacular had happened yet. Any guardsmen I killed were quickly reinforced, leaving both armies at full strength. On my brother's turn, however, he trumpeted the beginning of this onslaught by firing his battle cannon. The giant blast sent 2 of my assault marines sailing through the air in pieces. Then a flurry of big bullets and last cannon rounds sizzled across the table, sinking into my Space Marines' chest plates. Still, as grisly as the long-range bombardment was, it didn't kill enough Marines to really do much damage. My Marines were reinforced back up to full strength, minus 1 assault Marine. And then, just as my Space Marines rushed forward to avenge their fallen brothers, something happened. An explosion rattled our skull probe, temporarily disabling its camera. However, the sounds of my assault squad's chainswords and the screams of dying men could clearly be heard. More importantly, the sound of a last cannon round stunning the Leman Russ rang out across the battlefield. And when the skull probe's camera finally came back online, it revealed a stunning sight. My Space Marines had rushed forward to eliminate an entire squad of guardsmen, and my upper tactical squad had destroyed the Imperial Guard sentinel with their plasma guns. The Imperial Guard had retaliated by immobilizing one of my dreadnoughts and killing several members of my assault squad. Now, both sides had suffered some serious damage. Next, my sentinel-slaying tactical squad took the initiative by pushing onto my brother's side of the objective. Instantly, they shot down an entire squad of guardsmen and dared their enemies to come dislodge them. Most important of all, my jump squad took to the air and landed on the Leman Russ, blowing it to smithereens with their melta-bombs. My brother quickly responded by shooting up that closest tactical squad, whittling it down to 3 Marines. Thankfully, those Marines held their ground, but it still looked pretty hairy for him. The other big blow came when my brother immobilized my other dreadnought, leaving both of the ancient heroes little more than stationary turrets, neither of which had enough firepower to really cause that much damage to massed infantry. And then, alas, a stray bullet nicked that skull probe again, taking out its camera. It was a bad time to go out, too. The assault squad jumped into combat with my brother's stormtroopers and inquisitor. Combined with my closest tactical squad's bolters and plasma guns, their chainswords slew the last of the stormtroopers, but failed to wound the inquisitor. They suffered terrible casualties in return. When the camera finally came back online, my brother had responded cruelly and harshly. He'd shot down the last of my assault squad, eliminating them from the game. In addition, he harassed my furthest tactical squad, which had seized one corner of the battlefield, but thankfully failed to kill more than a single member of them. And now, with most of the attention having been focused on the assault squad, my battered tactical squads managed to recover most of their lost members. Regrouping, each of them destroyed another squad of guardsmen, one of those squads being a small command unit that had wreaked havoc on my dead assault squad by using power fists. Damage on both sides had gotten really heavy, and it just kept getting hairier. Now my brother poured all his remaining firepower into the closest tactical squad, and even rushed his Inquisitor in to slay them with his demon hammer. Unfortunately, his rolls were bad, and my armor saves were good. When all was said and done, my squad still remained, hanging on by a thread with just 2 Marines. However, The Imperial Guard's Inquisitor was dead. And now, it was a desperate bid to bring as many squads as possible to the objective, an area enclosed by the sandbag barriers. Both of my dreadnoughts were immobile, making them useless for holding on to the objective, so I hustled my furthest tactical squad toward the silo, hoping to reach the objective in time. Meanwhile, my other tactical squad fired madly into the Imperial Guard, killing 8 guardsmen out of 10. But they were just firing into a horde. Those guardsmen were immediately reinforced back up to full strength. Now, only 2 questions remained. Would that squad survive to hold the objective, and would the other reach it on time? The answer was no. At least for the embattled tactical squad. They were swallowed by the raging Imperial Guard, being overrun by a wave of bodies and bullets. The Imperial Guard managed to take that side of the objective, standing atop the ruined bodies of my Marines. But then, thankfully, my other squad managed to reach the objective on time. That last tactical squad had managed to finish off a command unit that had been blocking their path. After casting aside the last mangled body of their enemies, that squad consolidated into the objective. And in the end, the battle was a draw. Nobody owned the silo. Both armies had a single scoring unit near the objective, leaving it still hotly contested. And now, just a few final words. This game was played using the Zacas system, a set of rules modifications for Warhammer 40k aimed specifically at making smaller games quicker and more fun to play. This game took roughly an hour and a half, including taking pictures. Also, this was a real game. Both my brother and I were trying to win, so the draw came as a surprise. Anywho, please go see our other battle reports. If you haven't seen the laydown of the Zacas system yet, you might want to check that out too.